Hello, it is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. It's a big day in the history of the world. Election day. By the time you see this, hopefully the results would be clear. But I'm thinking about the historical significance of the day today. But I also, in terms of like me personally, the last couple of days I really didn't record an update, and I think I did a quick video saying around this time in real time I had posted a video that I had recorded on October 31st, November 1st, and then there's still this backlog of a bunch of update videos, so hopefully you'll be seeing this closer. I mean, if you, again, like you're following on real time, the thing about video is that you could be watching this at any time. But at any rate, the last couple of days I hadn't really recorded a update video, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is I've been tired. My first round of chemo was last Thursday, and I had the 5FU thing in the bottle attached to me for a couple of days, and then so it's like 3 days of things being administered to me, and like for the most part, I mean, it was okay. And I would get really, really tired. I would get like these really big bouts of tiredness, and I think it's not just the tiredness, and maybe the tiredness contributes to it, but also like the sense of just how much my life has changed, in such a very short period of time. A couple of months ago, this wasn't even in my consciousness at all, about how my life would change, how navigating appointments and learning more about what's going on, and my diagnosis and what that means for me, and all of that not working anymore, what that means to my family, what that means to my loved ones, that, like all those things. That wasn't, like 2 months ago. That's not a very long time ago, where this whole thing wasn't a reality for me. And I think there are times when it just, that this reality sort of like dips in, and the fact that I'm needing to rely on people for things that I have never had to rely on people for, or to ask for help in ways that I've never had to ask for help before. It is a very challenging thing, when I've thought of myself in a certain way about, how I get things done, or what I'm capable of doing, or this is part of who I am, like it's part of an identity or something like that I, is all of a sudden seemingly different. And then I think it becomes sort of like an existential thing. So if all of these things that I thought were a part of who I am and is no longer as real or as true or something, then, who am I then? Or who am I now? Or, so some existential questioning that's been going on. But I think like in practical terms, though, it's been really hard for me to just, feel like, for instance, with my husband, like all of a sudden an appointment would come up, and I would be like, I know that you had, things that you had to do for your business today, but I just had this appointment come up and I need to get to Sunnybrook, which is something that happened actually yesterday on Monday. Wasn't expecting, something so suddenly to happen, but then for him to kind of have to rearrange his schedule and his commitments even, and to be able to do this, like I don't, it doesn't feel good for me to know that that's what he's having to do, and that it causes him additional stress and all of that. Because I know that he loves me. I know that he wants to be able to do what he can, but he's also grappling with his own stuff. And for me to feel as though I'm adding to his stress, like rather than being able to help him, is again, like that's a different kind of a feeling for me too. Or that I'm like almost like the primary source of his stress now. Like it's a tough feeling. And so I've been grappling with those things the last couple of days. But I kind of mentioned it, one significant thing that happened yesterday on Monday is that I got a call in the morning from Sunnybrook regarding getting a second opinion from one of their gastrointestinal oncologists up at Sunnybrook. It's another big hospital here in Toronto, they have the Odette Center, incredible cancer center that they have over at Sunnybrook as well. When I spoke to my oncologist last week, it was one of the things that I guess as a matter of due diligence, I was talking to my friend Akiko, and she had just mentioned, it's like, have you thought about getting a second opinion? And at the time, I think I might have mentioned this, like I thought about it, but not done anything in relation to it. But when I did see my oncologist last week, I mentioned it, and she's like, well, let's make it happen. Like, you can talk to my colleague over at Sunnybrook, who is also deals with, he's a GI oncologist. So she was like, okay, we'll make it happen. And, and I thought that it would be, just even based on what they said, it's like, you'll probably hear from them in the next couple of weeks. And this was last Wednesday that I spoke to my oncologist. So lo and behold, Monday morning rolls around. That would have been yesterday. And I'm, have like kind of plans of like things I want to get done, and I'm, I kind of started doing a bunch of things in the morning and realized like, oh, like this has kind of tuckered me out. So I'm just sort of sitting and kind of thinking about all the different other things that I wanted to get done for the day, and then get a phone call from Sunnybrook saying that they have an appointment for 3:00 yesterday afternoon. So I guess there was a cancellation. It came up. So I was in this position of, okay, well, here's the opportunity for me to talk to another team about my treatment, and just to get sort of a second opinion, and perhaps some other insights that they can provide. A good opportunity just to be able to have an additional conversation. And so in theory, and actually in all ways, like it's a good opportunity. It's just A, I wasn't expecting it. B, I was tired. And C, there's a whole bunch of things. I was really hoping that yesterday was going to be sort of a relaxed kind of a day, like that I could just kind of putter around and just, get some things done, but didn't expect for something, this level of intense, like to have to go to another hospital and like talk about my diagnosis some more and all this kind of stuff. So I wasn't in a place where I was emotionally, mentally prepared for that. I think physically I was tired. And then on top of that, like I know that Joe had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, and I had to turn to him and say, so here's this opportunity for me to go to Sunnybrook and get a second opinion. It's at 3:00. I need a ride. Like, would you be able to do this? And, like he's, like great, like he's, made it happen, but I could see that it's like, okay, like he's doing the calculations in his head in terms of like what he needs to do to change his schedule in order to, make it happen. And it's just, it was, and I guess because I kind of pay attention to that kind of stuff, And I feel those kinds of things, or my impact, I guess, and knowing that that's, like I'm the cause of that, or my situation is the cause of that. It's just really hard. And so I think that the culmination, or like just the combination of all the different things that happen. Sometimes I'm just gonna be tired, and I think right now I'm tired as a result of the chemo, and just my grappling with my new reality, and also knowing the toll and the impact that it has also around the people around me. I think it just, sometimes feels like a little bit too much for me. So I guess as a result of that, just didn't feel like getting in front of the camera and recording an update. But I guess very quickly, I did go to the Sunnybrook for the second opinion, and really actually appreciated it. I was again like tired and kind of like, I don't know what questions to ask. It was I was low, but I had a friend on the line with me who really helped me through it. And yesterday, more than ever, was just really needed and appreciated. But asked some questions, and for the most part, just a confirmation that the standard of care and the standard of treatment that I'm receiving at Princess Margaret would be, the treatment itself would be the same as Sunnybrook. In terms of the idea of receiving treatment there versus Princess Margaret, I think that's been a little bit intriguing for me, because the pace at Sunnybrook, even the kind of a feel or a vibe, I think, at Sunnybrook is very different from Princess Margaret. Like, Princess Margaret is a big cancer hospital in the middle of downtown Toronto. Sunnybrook is in Toronto, but it's, about 20 minutes out. You look out the window and you see nature. When you look out any windows at Princess Margaret, you do not see nature. The pace and the vibe is very different. And I also got the sense, maybe with Sunnybrook, and it's again like first impressions, but that there was more of a personalized feeling to it, like that maybe the access to your team is it just feels a little bit more connected than maybe like a big institution like Princess Margaret. And there was something about that was appealing to me. But yeah, I mean, there's a number of things for me to think about. But should I guess what I walked away with was a number of things. Like, one is that I can get treatment, and same treatment at in terms of like the actual chemotherapy drugs and all that kind of stuff. I can get that at Sunnybrook with a different team. Doesn't necessarily have to be Princess Margaret. It would be the same treatment, standard of care, relatively speaking, but it could make a difference potentially to work with a different team in a different environment. And that was an interesting thing to learn. One other thing that I really appreciated was the oncologist that met with me, Dr. Rafel. He was fantastic. Like, he was like positive and upbeat, and he's, based on your age and based on, your health other than your diagnosis, like, keep positive. And positivity and hope and attitude and outlook is, like, he stressed the importance of those things, and how they definitely could have an impact on prognosis. And yeah, like it was just I really appreciated having the opportunity to have some of his time and for him to answer the questions that I had. So I'm glad that I went, but timing wasn't the best, and that also kind of super tired me out yesterday. So yes, so that was yesterday. And today I have a nursing clinic appointment in a couple of hours because I think that my drain tube is kind of kinking a little bit. My dressing, I think, needs to be reassessed. So that's an ongoing thing. But fingers crossed that the rest of my week is not as harried and that maybe I can kind of, take things a little bit easier and take some time to, again, like do some of that puttering around that I mentioned and there's still a lot of different things to figure out just to give myself some space and time to do that. So, yeah, hopefully that's wanting for the rest of this week. But what I've learned in the last month and a half or so, or however long it's been, that things can change in a dime. So, well, I guess we'll see. But I again have just been completely blown away by the support and the care that I have been receiving from folks who've been coming across my story and me. So thank you so much for your support. It just means so much. On that note, I'm sending you a ton of love and care, and I hope that you have some love and care for yourself and love and care for the folks around you. And and I haven't given chef's kisses in a little while, so chef's kisses for everyone. And yeah, like, take care. And yeah, and on that note, I'll talk to you again real soon.